no intro? I guess it's up to me. Alright. I was kind of waiting for the cue from the host, but that's fine. So, hello everyone, I'm d4gr0n. I'm back from 2 days ago, fresh off of a very good Rystar run. Now I'm coming back with yet another, well, I don't know if it might be a stretch to call it a classic in most people's minds, but it is a Sonic game, so one with an ill-famed reputation of sorts. Before I get this run started, though, I have some rather big news to say. Literally 30 minutes ago, before this run before I had to come live here, the world record has been improved. It has been changed. It's now 2542/43. I'm not 100% sure. So, you're gonna be seeing some top-level gameplay here. And yeah, look forward to it. So with that being said, I won't dawdle anymore. Oh, okay. So with that being said, we'll get started in 3, 2, 1, go. So, Sonic 3D Blast is a simple sort of game where the goal is to collect 5 flickies and take them to a big ring in order to access the next section of the level. There are, I believe there are 7 zones in total, and there are 4 different types of flickies. In this level, you're going to see the blue and the purple flickies. The blue flickies their AI always works so that they always try to get back to Sonic. They're good flickies. Purple, I don't really know what they do exactly. That blue flicky there, because of his AI pattern, as long as you do the same thing, he'll always kind of wander in that section there. And just like that, we're already done the first level in Green Grove. Now, speedruns of this game, we usually go with real time, but we also do calculate the IGT, just for comparison purposes. Now, in this level, you're going to see a new type of flicky, which is the orange flicky. These guys are a little less cooperative than the purple and the blue ones. They like to jump around. They like to jump around a lot, back and forth in any direction they want, but they usually don't like to leave the allotted area where they are freed, so they're not too bad. The hardest part is just trying to retrieve them. The worst thing, though, about the orange flickies is that it comes from a new enemy type, which is these worms. These worms are awful. They are easily the biggest reason why this level is awful. And, you miss a hit on a worm, you usually have to wait about 2 or 3 seconds just to get, just to be given another shot to hit him again. Having a really good outing here. Oh, and yes, there are speed shoes to make you go fast. Alright, this was a very good outing with Green Grove. I'm actually surprised. Really good outing. Very solid Green Grove, too. But yeah, flickies are... Oh, by the way, that is a tie-dial record right there. 108 is the fastest you can do that stage, as far as I understand it. Now, flickies are considered to be the worst aspect of this game. The other aspect of the game that makes people not like this game so much is the boss fights, and that's more or less because the hitbox detection in this fight is pretty brutal. Good outing, though, with this fight. You're basically just baiting the spike ball to go right underneath Robotnik. So he's traveling less each time he comes down to re-grab it. And that's Green Grove. Now, Rusty Ruins, you're gonna see me spinning like a ballerina here, and this is intentional because you need to be in that status to break pillars. There's Tails right there. You can't actually get to him, though, unless you maintain the ballerina spinning status to break through those blocks. And this is a pretty integral part, especially in this level, because there's a certain part where we have to carry 3 flickies to a row of pillars, and if we lose the spinning status, and you can if you get hit, you have to come back and reclaim the status again. You can see they ladder all these spikes around, and you can also get hit out of this spinning status. I found out about that pretty recently. But yeah, that was the row of pillars there. Good section there. And now we're going to move on to the final section of Rusty Ruins 1. I should also mention, this is the level where we are introduced to the green flickies, and they're awful. I believe they're random, but sometimes I swear they just go right for stage hazards. They're not a nice... They're really bad flickies. You do not want them escaping you. And that's kind of the thing with the flicky grabbing thing. Their hitbox is not exactly very generous to grab them when hitting an enemy. But the main reason why the flickies are such a big problem to grab optimally is basically because Sonic is a very slippery character to control, and usually it's very hard to know when to stop your movement momentum so you can actually bounce on the enemies properly and not lose the flickies. So that jump, that big jump over that gap is huge. If I actually fell down there, I would have lost about 20 seconds because it would actually take me to the previous section, and I would have had to try to regain back. This is also kind of a time loss, but it's whatever. Otherwise, it was a pretty clean section. And now we move on to the last section. This part can be a little trolly. The bees' movement pattern is actually pretty random. They can sometimes be kind and just stand still for you, and other times they can be just they can sometimes just be really mean and move around a lot, and you can accidentally just run into them. And running into enemies is bad. Like, on top of losing all your rings, you'll lose all of your flickies and you have to re-grab them. Worse yet, not only can that happen, but if your flicky line gets hit, you will actually lose your flickies as well. Or at least the ones that get hit. Oh, by the way, that's how you properly do the Rusty Ruins boss. You can actually get up there and take him out before he even gets a chance to do anything. It's a pretty nice quick kill. Otherwise, that fight takes about a minute long to do properly, casually speaking. Right, so now we move on to Spring Stadium here. Pretty weird choice of colors. This stage is pretty integral that I get this gold shield right here. This shield here is the homing shield. This is, I believe, the first time we see this in a Sonic game. And how it works, you basically jump in the air, and then you press jump again, and you'll home in on an enemy. It's very nice to have, especially to get relatively good times. It's almost necessary, which is debatable. Debatable by some top runners, mind you. The IL strat of this level doesn't use it. Like, the IL record for this level doesn't use the shield at all. But it makes this level so much more consistent with it, so I just opt for it. And it also takes the random luck element out of play with enemies that are random in their movement. Right. So, there's not much more really, though, to say about Spring Stadium. It's a pretty standard sort of level. I mean, once I've covered the gold shield, that was pretty much all there was to say about it. So, I guess I'll take this time to say how I found out about this game. About a few months ago, there was this tournament, the Sega-related tournament on Speed Gaming, and one of the games they chose for it was Sonic 3D Blast. Now, at this point, I actually did not touch this game. I'd never even played it before. And so, I was pleasantly surprised how much fun I actually had with the game learning it, especially given the game's ill-famed reputation. Like, this is a game that tends to get a pretty bad reputation. In fact, sometimes it's such a... in fact, some people give it such a hard time that it even has sometimes wound up on like the top 5 worst Sonic games of all time. And I don't really think it warranted that, to be honest. I think it's a pretty serviceable game on its own. Yeah, the hitbox detection and the grabbing the flickies can be a little annoying, but I think after having learned the speedrun of this game, I really do think the flickies are what really sets it apart and gives it... It really is an integral part of the speed tech. I feel like taking out the flickies kind of kills the game as a speedrun, if I'm going to be completely honest. But I do understand the bad hitbox detection, and this is especially true with the next boss fight coming up here. This is probably the hardest fight of the game, and there is a quick kill associated with it that I hopefully will do first try. People do like to say this is the Baby Rage boss. Okay, we have to abandon ship on that plan. Okay. Gonna have to grab some rings. So we did mess up the quick kill. Not gonna try again. We're just gonna eat our loss and move on. Yeah, perspectives are really, really tricky with that fight, and doing that quick kill is very risky, but it's always worth doing because you can get, like, if you do that fight perfectly, you can save like 8 seconds over how I just did it there. It's pretty nice. Now, Sonic is pretty slippery, so you can imagine combining that with the ice physics. This is must sound pretty awful. But there's not too many instances of actually slippery ground. So, in theory, it's not really much of an ice level. In fact, you're probably in most cases actually dealing with sort of a conveyor belt in form of an avalanche or sweeping snow. I don't even know what to call this. Alright, cool, we got it. That's actually pretty difficult. You can actually get hit very easily. But ideally you want to get through that avalanche section there in 3 jumps. It's fine if you do it in 4 jumps, but it saves a fair bit of time. It's where the run has come to that point now where we do want to save time in that manner. Every second now counts. You might have seen these snowmen kind of walking around. Actually, no, you didn't get to see it, really, in that stage. But there are certain snowman enemies that kind of wander around in Diamond Dust. There is the ones that explode. I'm not talking about those ones. Let me see if I can just get down here. Yeah, here the ice physics can mess with you quite a bit. Quite a bit. Alright, that snowman right there. If you actually roll into that snowman and he's firing bullets, you can actually automatically get killed. There's a glitch associated with him. And Amber would probably be able to explain it better than I ever could. But, yeah, it apparently has something to do with it working kind of like the spike glitch or something in older Sonic games. But yeah, that's kind of how it has been explained. I wish I could explain it better. Anyway, return of the homing shield here. This really helps a lot with this stage. This is also why the ice world is not quite as bad as you might think. Because the homing shield actually really helps keep you under control. And it also helps track down the snowmen. Snowmen are actually pretty risky to go for optimal rolling strats. The shield actually really does help a lot. Okay. So that's Diamond Dust pretty much out of the way. The boss, this is pretty much the first boss fight that tends to be pretty tricky. Well, I mean, no, that's not true. There are harder fights. We've dealt with harder fights, but for some reason I tend to struggle with this fight a little more than I should. He'll drop some snowman, then he'll wander around and move a little bit. And kind of, what I try to do is I try to lure him to the middle. And he gets progressively faster over the course of the fight. It's actually surprisingly easy to get hit by this guy, so... And especially because those little things wandering around, they actually try to freeze you. They are a hitbox themselves, so it's very, very often pretty easy to get hit by him, even when trying to go for optimal hits. 50 is still really good, though, so that was a good fight. Now, Volcanic Valley, oh boy. This is where, there are words that I have to express, that I have for this zone, and they would not be appropriate. You notice I grabbed invincibility. That is pretty, I mean, it's not necessary, but it's ideal because these flame blowers are so awful. And you can also get damage boosted into that hole without breaking that block. And it's awful when that happens, because then you have to go back and reclaim those flickies. It's like the worst place to get hit. Also, there's these little platforms here that I'm spin dashing on. And if you're far enough away from the wall, you can actually jump and get up onto the platform that you're... Oh, whoops. You can actually get up onto the ledge there if you're far enough from the wall. You need to have at least enough leeway room to jump. Hello, Flicky? Nice. But usually if you're not far enough away from the wall, you will just ricochet off the wall, and it's a big time loss if that happens. Right, so now, Volcanic Valley 2. Volcanic Valley 2. We are going to get a fire shield. It is mission critical I hold on to this shield. Getting it optimally is also very, very difficult. You have to be aligned just right so you don't get hit by any flying fireballs. And you take a hit at any point, you risk actually losing potentially as much as even 10-20 seconds if you get hit in the wrong spot. So hopefully that doesn't happen. We're going to be coming up to some speed shoots here. And hopefully we hold on to those as well. Oh my goodness. Okay, this is a scary situation now. Right, come on. Alright, cool. Alright, nice. We didn't take a hit. Had to take that just a little bit safe. It was a little bit scary, but we got through it without taking a hit. Like I said, if you get hit, you lose all your flickies, and if they go over top of lava, they start flying around up and down, and it's awful. Alright, so we're going to go for the IL strat here, which is an 18. Let's see if we get it. Nope. We'll settle with a 20, I think. I think that's a 20. Yeah. So, unfortunately, I didn't take enough knockback, and I got hit by Robotnik himself. But how I did that, the idea of getting the 18 is sort of something along the lines of that. It's a bit risky. It's a very risky strat, actually, especially if you have a decent lead on your splits. Okay, Gene Gadget. This is pretty much every runner's least favorite zone. It's one of my favorite, actually, and it contains probably my favorite track in the game. Okay, we didn't get that guy, which is unfortunate, but we did manage to have clean hits there. That's the hardest section of Gene Gadget 1 out of the way. Here. Oh, God. Okay, we still got him. Good. Good. Flicky, thank you. Okay, so that was a little bit messy. Missing... I had a very limited window to hit that guy before he decided to protrude his spikes out. And there's one more of that enemy type in this level. Okay. Not a big deal. We're through. And that's pretty much Gene Gadget 1 out of the way. Now, I'm going to take this time now to explain the next level is... There are two parts of this run that we runners like to aptly call the Slopes of Rage. Slope of Rage number 1 comes in this level. If I fall down and mess up this part of the level, I will lose 30 seconds. Very punishing if this happens. Hopefully it doesn't. I have been nailing it in practice, which hopefully doesn't mean I'm gonna jinx myself. See what happens. Alright, this is a good start. Beautiful pickup. That's very tough to do. You've got to have a lot of balls to do that. And the Slope of Rage did not claim us in this level. We still have one more, though, a little bit in a different level, but we'll get to that when we get there. Now we have just this one final section here. Oh my goodness. Wow, I cannot believe I didn't take a hit there. Alright. So one more flicky and then it's the end of the level. Beautiful pickup. Let's go. .114 is very good. IO record for that is like 112, so that's how you know you have a really good stage there. Alright, so now we have the longest fight that we faced thus far. This is about a minute. This is a little over a minute long, and there's really no way to speed it up. There is a nice little trick, though, where if you angle Sonic, you actually will drag along the side of the wall. And this helps significantly in being able to get, like, decent optimal hits on him. I'm actually going to stay right over here. And it also makes dodging these spikes much easier. But if you do miss a hit, you'll see Robotnik actually throw all these missiles around. But yeah, there's not really much to this fight otherwise. After this is going to be the final zone of the game, which is Panic Puppet. And in this zone, there will be one more level involving collecting flickies. And then there will be the next level afterwards is going to be just get to the end of the stage. There's no more flicky collecting after this next upcoming level. And even this next upcoming level, there's only 5 we have to rescue. They're actually in capsules this time, instead of actual enemies. Now, coming up here is pretty precise movement. I need to squeeze past these mines. See if we do it. Nice. Even got the jump. That's also really tricky. Now, the real big risk with this level is that this is a very easy place for your flicky line to get sniped. So we're going to take this a little bit safe. Yeah, do you see? That bullet would have actually hit my flicky line. Also, we're going to take this invincibility for safety, just so we don't get flicky sniped here. And, yeah. So that switch I actually hit. Actually, you saw me hit a few switches there. And that allows the conveyor belts to go the way we want to advance through the level. And there we go, that's Panic Puppet 1. Pretty short area, actually. And now, coming up, and that's pretty much it for the Flicky collecting. From here on out, it's just get to the end of the game and final showdown with Robotnik. Now here's another pretty tough jump. Okay, we went way too early there, but that's fine. It was worth going for it. You can actually get through that line of mines, but it is a pretty precise timing to actually angle your jump to get past them. Also, yes, the end of the level is actually getting into that big Robotnik's nose. Also, here's the other slope of rage. Let's see if we get through it. Okay, no, we didn't. So, unfortunately, once you get on this slope, you actually will fall off. It's pretty much guaranteed. It's very hard to actually recover from it. But it's fine. We didn't fall down a second time. So, that's fine. Alright. And with that ends Panic Puppet 2. So, we just have one more stage, or one more fight. And this is the longest fight of the game. Or at least in this category. There are 3 phases. The first one is the hardest by far, especially to do optimally, because you have to bait this arm to slam itself down, and you also have to not be too antsy when moving. Otherwise, the arm will move away from you and start firing all these dumb bullets out from its shoulder pad. And yeah, with that, we're done with phase 1. Now we move on to phase 2, where we do want to try to jump a little bit to get the fire trail that's trying to chase us down to move a lot more so that we can actually not risk getting hit on the other side of the shoulder. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do here, is bait the flame to actually travel as much as possible before getting to the other side of Robotnik. And there you go, that is the second phase. So now we have one more phase here, and it's the easiest phase. Fun fact, you can actually stay on one side and continually hit them after the first hit. But the idea is that these guys shoot out these blue, I guess, balls. They're pretty easy to dodge, though. Alright, so one more hit. And there you go. That was the last boss of the game. Time is coming up on Fade to Black. There it is. I don't know what you guys had for a time, but I got a 26:30, which is a very good time. Before I picked this game up, the record was actually 26:28. And it's come a long way. It's come a long way. Shoutouts to Kiriyami, who had the record, and actually, like literally just over an hour ago, even had the record. Before I managed to snipe it, literally an hour ago, from this moment here. I imagine she'll take it back though. So. Thank you for the GGs, everyone, and yeah, I don't know what else to really say. Don't know what else to input other than to wish the best of luck to Shay and his Undertale run, and I guess I'll take this time to thank everyone at who in charge of Pixels for Peace for putting on this marathon. Yeah, keep raising the money, everybody. And with that, that's it. That's all I got. Thanks for the GGs, everyone.
This is your flight attendant speaking. We have one run left. Shay, Undertale True Pacifist. And then I guess he's going to be beating up some bosses afterwards. It's going to be an awesome time. Sit back and relax. And remember, you can always donate to Hug More Goats. Exclamation point. Donate in the chat. Next time you hear my voice, we'll have some Shay with us.